Oh, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back. It's the final word with MattyB on this Thanksgiving evening. Not Eve, but Thanksgiving evening. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving day. I hope all your wishes were made true and you ate your heart's content and you watched some great football. Because if you watch some great football, then you obviously watched different football than I did. We are coming to the tail end of our Thanksgiving football viewing day. The final game of the trifecta is happening right now, but the first two took us from levels of confusion to sheer levels of boredom, as the Bears, Lions, and Cowboys and Giants found ways to mystify and defy us throughout the day. We're going to get into some of that. We're also going to get into your day in Philadelphia sports history. We're going to get into a little bit of the Flyers conversation still, too. Maybe not so much talk about the Predators game, but look ahead at the Rangers game tomorrow, the annual Black Friday game. We have a special announcement from the network as we found out something today that's going to help us immensely, and we're very excited about. We're going to talk our prospect of the night, and we're also going to talk our card review. And we'll just kind of kick it around as it is Thanksgiving night. And I hope, as I said, everybody's had a great evening and enjoyed themselves immensely today. So let's get it kicked off with your day in Philadelphia sports history, as we do every night on this program. And on this day in 1997, on the Black Friday matinee game against the Islanders, the Flyers debuted for the very, very first time a third jersey, the alternate jersey, which was that first black jersey. Remember the one with the black and then the white up top here? That was their first third jersey ever. Their first alternate jersey, I guess they called it. And, of course, that became their primary jersey a few years later, their primary road jersey. And then, of course, since all that has happened, the NHL and every other sport has cashed in on the uniform craze and the jersey craze. And there's multiple levels of jerseys. But on this day in 97, the Flyers took the plunge and debuted an alternate jersey for the first time ever in team history, on their 30th year anniversary, actually. So yeah, there you have it. Not a very sexy day in Philadelphia sports history. Kind of picking for some high-hanging fruit on that one, but it's a good one. The Flyers have had decent... the fact that the Flyers have never gotten away from their logo, it's been their primary logo the whole time. It's a classic logo. It shouldn't be changed. But I've enjoyed some of the uniform combinations that they've attempted over the years. And that black jersey, that first one that was debuted on this day back in 97, that was a classic one. I actually have one. I do like the black jersey today. I like the way they do that one. But that first black jersey that debuted today back in 97 was a classic and still is in my heart. So there you have it. The Flyers debuted their black alternate jersey on this day back in 97. So woohoo, there's your day in Philadelphia sports history. And with that all being said, remember, if those of you keeping track at home, 76 days until pitchers and catchers report to spring training. So keeping those warm thoughts on a very cold day where I'm at. A lot of places are getting snow today around the area. I wonder, around the region, I should say. Hope you find yourself comfortable and warm tonight. All right, so let's kind of kick this thing off with hockey and a special announcement for those of you who care, because I know I do, because it involves me directly. The It's a Wrap Sports Network today received verification that it will be granted media accessibility to the 2025 World Junior Championships up in Ottawa starting at the end of December, meaning that we'll get an opportunity to go up there and cover that tournament for all the greatest U20 players around the world. That will feature probably about at least, I'd say, 6 current Flyer prospect players that will be playing for various teams around the world. And of course, the other side of this is an opportunity to look at the players like James Haggins, like Spencer Gill, or Malcolm Spence, sorry, not Spencer Gill, but Malcolm Spence, players that are going to be drafted this summer. So we're going to have an opportunity to go up there starting on December 26th and cover that tournament. Really a good feather in the cap for this very young network that's trying to get its foothold. So we're looking forward to doing that here at the end of December. And we look forward to what that will bring. So with that being said, let's kind of transition over to the hockey scene. The Flyers, I'm not going to get back into much breaking down the game last night. We all saw it. It was Drek, 37 giveaways, an amazing game-tying goal at the very end descended into overtime, and the Flyers found the way to win. Tomorrow, though, very interesting game. Tomorrow is the Black Friday matinee at the Wells Fargo Center. The New York Rangers will come into town. Huge test for the Flyers tomorrow. Huge test for them as they will try to hopefully, not do what they've been doing over the past 3 weeks in terms of how they've been going out and attacking games. The offense has got to kind of start from the beginning. They can't turn the offense on with a minute to go in the game against a team like the Rangers, or it'll be like 9-0. So an interesting test tomorrow. Not sure who's going to be in net. It could be either one, Kovalsov or Fedotov. Probably Fedotov, which I'm not sure if that's the right way to go either. But tomorrow afternoon at Wells Fargo, the Flyers at 1 o'clock, I believe, is the start time. We'll be doing that game, and then right after that game, make sure you're back here at 4:30-ish time frame for the Clear the Ice program with Sal G. He'll take you tomorrow, and then I will get you on Saturday for the St. Louis game. So we get back at this thing tomorrow against the Rangers. And today, as I mentioned, the IIHF opportunity, really thrilled about that. The 6 players who I think that the Flyers will have representing around the world will be a combination of the following. I don't think Team USA, the Flyers have some decent players American-wise right now in the system, but not extra strength players. There should be a heavy Flyer representation on Team Canada. Oliver Bonk, Denver Barkey, Jet Lachenko. Who am I missing there? Those 3 definitely, I think, are shoo-ins to make their respective teams. Carson Bjornsson, the goalie prospect, has a good shot at making Team Canada. As far as the other places, Jack Berglund should make Sweden, and then Heikki Rotanen should probably make it for Finland. So at the very least bit, I think it'll be 6 players that will be sent around the world to represent their countries, and it's going to be fun. I can't really wait to have that opportunity to cover that event, and yeah, just really looking forward to that. So stay tuned to more information as we move forward. December 26th to January 6th, I believe, up in Ottawa for the U20 IIHF World Junior Championship. So fun times ahead. All right, let's talk about the football day. Again, I hope everybody has enjoyed their football day. I know the traditional Thanksgiving football is not necessarily sitting down watching every game from its start to its finish. Of course, unless it's the Eagles. There's a lot of mingling around. You're entertaining guests. You're talking, having conversations, and the game is kind of playing off in the background. But earlier today, in case you missed it, in case I'm giving you the intel on it, the Bears and the Lions played an actually very entertaining game. That it looked like the Bears for a while the first half they were dead in the water, but second half I got to give the Bears credit. Caleb Williams orchestrated a comeback, got the team back in it, and set the Bears up for success going down the stretch, heading down the final drive, less than a minute to go in the game. And what I saw today in that last minute of play against the Lions, Matt Eberflus, or Flus, or however you say that guy's name, the head coach of the Bears, I know he's under fire right now for grossly mismanaging the clock at the very end of the game with about 30 seconds to go. But I'm not going to take responsibility away from the team grossly mismanaging those final plays. The penalties, the sacks. They were putting themselves in situations that were pretty bad. And I actually remember thinking to myself, I think it was a sack that set the Bears up with 35 seconds left. They had the one timeout left. I remember thinking to myself, don't take that timeout. You have 35 seconds. You have enough time to run a play. Then take the timeout to set up for the game-winning field goal. Or tying field goal, whatever it was. Yeah, the game-tying field goal. So I'm not going to get on Eberflus for not taking a timeout there. Now I'm going to get on Caleb Williams and the rest of the offense for not having clock management skills and not having the awareness that the clock was running down. The play took forever to develop. Caleb Williams took forever to develop the play. So yes, some blame needs to be put on the Bear head coach, and I know it's been a series of frustrations over the last 3 seasons for the Bears fans and that head coach. And maybe this is what they're just kind of pushed him over the edge. But I guarantee you, and we've been down this road with Sirianni and his antics. But from an outsider looking in, I'm not coming down on the coach too hard. I mean, should he have maybe taken matters in his own hands when he saw that the play was taking too long? Potentially. But the ball was snapped with what, 10 seconds or so left? Caleb Williams took way too long to make a decision to do what to do with that ball. Then he threw it down the middle of the field. So what do you want from the head coach here? Honestly, what do you want from the head coach? But apparently Bears fans are going to stage a mass protest tomorrow at Soldier Field, demanding for the firing of MattyB. I'm not saying that right, but I didn't even know that was the guy's name. He's been the head coach of the Bears for 3 years. Demanding his firing because of the gross mismanagement of the clock against the Detroit Lions down the stretch of that game. It was an entertaining game, especially in the second half when the Bears came back. But again, leading up to that play, the penalties, the sacks, the keystone coppiness of the Bears leading up to that final play, is that the coach's fault? I mean, he's not on the field. And is the coach responsible for the quarterback misgauging the clock, misgauging the time management aspect? The quarterback can see the clock. He know he was taking too long. And then why is he throwing down the middle of the field when he knows he doesn't have much time left? So again, I get the frustration, and I'm sure we'd be all over Sirianni if he did that. But yeah, I'm not going to stage an outright protest and run the coach out of town because the quarterback and the rest of the offense mismanaged the final 25, 30 seconds of the game. Absolutely not. So the Bears fell to the Lions today. And then in the second game, man, yeah, it takes some caffeine pills for this one. Giants and freaking Cowboys, man. Woo, woo, woo. Talk about a snooze fest. And it happens to be, of course, at that time on Thanksgiving where, the tryptophan's kicking in and the alcohol's kicking in and people are starting to kind of, settle down. It's after dinner typically at this point by 4:30, 5 o'clock. And as that game kind of sputtered along, I know a lot of people were falling asleep during that thing, and I don't blame you, man. What a boring game between two really bad teams. And it was a shame that somebody had to win. And the Cowboys did win. What was the final on that thing? It ended up being like a blowout too, right? It was, 27-20. I guess they scored a touchdown late, but boy, oh boy. 27-20, Cowboys over the Giants. Just bad football, man. Bad football. And now tonight the Packers are playing the Dolphins in the nightcap. It's 14-0 Green Bay. About 9 minutes to go in the first half. So there's your football watching experience here on Thanksgiving Day. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a shame. And then, of course, we got a game tomorrow. We got the, what's tomorrow? Yeah, we got the Raiders and the Chiefs tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Good Friday. They're going to put a game on. How do you feel about that? Yeah, interesting. Is anybody going to be home to watch that? So horrible football. Horrible football. And the Bears looking to run their head coach out of town because he mismanaged the clock. And again, I don't understand really what he did wrong. There's a school of thought that could say you could take a timeout there. I was on the side because I remember watching the sack. I was thinking, oh, hey, come on, get him back to the line. You got 35 seconds or 40 seconds at this point, whatever it was. And you got one timeout. You got time to run one play and then burn that timeout. It was on the quarterback. It was on the offense to get a little bit more of a awareness going on and a little bit of self-motivation to run that play faster. And whoever called that play, now maybe that was from the sidelines, maybe that was Caleb Williams audibly into it, but that was the wrong type of play when you're running out of time and he's going to throw it to the middle of the field. Now, in the Eagles' case, because we don't throw the ball to the middle of the field, we probably would have been okay. They could have probably burned a timeout there, but yeah, I'm not going to necessarily blame MattyB for that. I'm going to blame Caleb Williams and his inexperience on that play. So Bears lose today. Probably the most entertaining game of the day so far. But yeah. So I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving Day football fun, courtesy of the National Football League. All right, let's talk about our prospect of the night segment. Let's move to that. Again, a very light day here in sports, so we're not really going to spend much time dwelling upon stuff that we don't have to talk about. The Eagles, of course, are getting ready for the Ravens. We will be back for the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn probably on Saturday as we'll get you ready for that game. Nothing really new to report. Brandon Graham's down for the year with the torn tricep. That's pretty significant, or is it? I'm looking forward to seeing some of the younger players play in his stay. That's what we've been wanting to see, right? Brandon Graham is going to retire at the end of the year anyway. So, you know what? This is an opportunity now for whoever's going to step into that void to step in now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all kind of wraps together going down the stretch, especially on Sunday against a very difficult Baltimore Raven team and a very high-powered, high-scoring offense. So interesting to see on that. But on Saturday, me and Kyle Quinn will be here to give you the more thorough breakdown of that game. So make sure you're tuned in. We don't have a time yet. We're still working that out, but it will be sometime on Saturday. So let's go to our Prospect of the Night segment. Again, brought to you by the good folks here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Please like, subscribe, smash the button and the bell, tell your friends. It doesn't cost a thing to do that, and we definitely need your help as we're trying to grow this thing from the ground up. I'm tired of talking about it, but that's what we're doing, growing it from the ground up. So please help us out in any way you possibly can. All right, so our prospect player of the night is with the Flyers, of course. We've been talking Flyers pretty much exclusively in this segment because it's the time of the year. And this player actually is a prospect. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I don't know if he's defined as a prospect anymore. Do you think after a certain amount of years in the minor leagues before becoming established, and if you're bouncing around between organization and organization, do you lose the status of prospect at a certain point and become just like a journeyman minor leaguer? Is there a statute of limitations on your status as a prospect? Is it after like 3 years, 4 years? And this is a player here that will probably test that as well, because this player has played in the NHL. He's been up and down with multiple organizations. He just actually was up for the Flyers not too long ago. He's back down in Lehigh now. He was brought here this past summer, so he wasn't drafted into the system. So does that disqualify him as a prospect because he wasn't drafted here? I mean, I'd like to know your take on that because I have my own personal take, but here it is. Anthony Richard is your prospect of the night. As I said, a player who has NHL experience, just played a stretch of games for the Flyers in the injury when they were dealing with some injuries, played well in those stretch of games. He is a former fourth-round pick in the 2015 NHL draft by Nashville. Showed an ability and a nose for the net and a nose for greasy goal play, of really fighting for every inch of ice that he was trying to get. And gave the offense kind of a jump start. Let's be honest with you, man. He gave the offense a jump start in his time here. And while he was here, he played in 7 games, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points and a +4. A +4 in that time. That's really impressive at the NHL level. But so far with Lehigh this year, and that's kind of where he's been living, 8 games, 4 goals, 7 assists, 411 points, and a +5. So Anthony Richard, doing it at both levels. And as the bio here says, the smallish forward has NHL caliber speed, but has to prove he has the skill needed to avoid being labeled as a career minor leaguer who gets the occasional recall. And that's kind of what he is at this point. And at 5'11" and 183 pounds, that's why they call him the smallish forward. He's kind of down there on the size, both in height and weight. But when he was here and in the games he played, definitely made an impact. So Anthony Richard, Tony Dick, as Sal likes to call him, is tonight's prospect of the night. And again, how do we label a prospect? Do we stop calling them a prospect at a certain point of their minor league career? And do we just label them as what they're saying about Anthony Richard, a career minor leaguer? So anyway, there's your prospect of the night. And Anthony Richard is that prospect of the night. All right. Here we go. It's time. This is going to be a quick show tonight because, again, it's Thanksgiving. I wanted to show my commitment by coming on the air, right? I wanted to show my commitment by being here for you on Thanksgiving Day and never taking a day off, because I won't do that. I won't do that to you. I will not take a day off. I will come every night when I'm supposed to. But I kind of want to relax to myself. But let's get into the best segment of the night, and that is our card review. This is the part of the show where I take one of my sports cards out of my collection and we just talk about it.
Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. What? Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
All right. Again, this is the segment of the sports card review show. I've been collecting sports cards off and on all my life. And just recently went through and organized and categorized all my cards for the first time ever. I merged also my collection with my stepson's, and we kind of started the whole process of getting into collecting a little bit more seriously, not uber seriously, because as if you were watching last night, I told you that I went to a card show last night actually, and this was a low level one. This wasn't like the National or the Philadelphia card show or New York's. It was like a low level one, and there's some serious people. There's some serious stuff happening at these card shops, and there's some serious collections too. And my collection is nowhere on the levels of stuff like that, but you got to start somewhere, and that's where we're at. And I did tell you last night that I made a few deals at that card show. I ended up trading away a Barry Bonds 87 Topps rookie for a 78 Carlton and an 81 Tug McGraw, which I thought was a fair trade, because as much as Barry Bonds rookie is one of those uber, type cards that when you got it as a kid, you're like, yeah, this guy's going to go somewhere. All the crap surrounding him right now, I don't think he's ever going to smell the Hall of Fame, honestly. So I thought that was a legitimate trade, and I had multiples of that card, so whatever. I didn't really hurt myself, and I ended up trading at a Shohei Ohtani rookie and 2 Aaron Judge rookies for Jordan Love, a rookie card for Jordan Love, and the card that we're going to feature here tonight. So we're going to get into talking about this card. So that's what I ended up doing. So I ended up walking away. Basically, I gave up 4 cards, and I got 4 cards in return. So I thought it worked out pretty well. But here's our card for the night, and this is the card that I picked up last night. It is the 2022 Bowman University Bijan Robinson Big Kahuna card. This is not his rookie card. This is his college card. Of course, if you didn't know this, the big phenomenon over the last 10 years or so is that we started doing college cards. These cards that come out about these prospected players out of college football and basketball. They do them too. And if you can get your hands on them, and if the player hits, obviously it's a pretty big thing. And this card right here is a it's a foil card. It's not a chrome, but it's a foil. It's all kinds of colorful. It's a pretty card, as you can see. And I saw it on the table last night, and I'm like, you know what? I think based on what I'm willing to give up, this is a card that I think I can get. And I was able to make it happen. So currently this card right now, financially, if you look at it on the open market, it's about a $75 card. As a PSA 6, I couldn't find PSA graded cards higher. I couldn't find this card in a higher than a PSA 6, but it was a $75 card at that grade. So I'm like, you know what? That's pretty good. And then I did some more research, and then the Bijan rookie card from the Falcons is like an $80 card. So for some odd reason, Bijan is trending up. He was trending up heading into this football season. He hit a dip, and actually his card prices fell a little bit. And then they started going back up over the last few weeks. So I don't understand how the market rolls. Obviously, it's performance and stuff like that. But this is his Big Kahuna card out of college. And here's the card in its physical form. Now, when I when I show you this card, of course, I preface all this by saying all my cards are raw, except this one. That's right. This was another thing about getting this card. This was PSA graded. This is a 9. This is a PSA 9 graded by PSA. As I told you, a PSA 6 of this card is worth $75. So I think I have myself a pretty good investment here, picking up this card and only giving up an two Aaron Judges and a Shohei Ohtani, and also getting a Jordan Love rookie that's also PSA 9 graded. So I thought I did pretty well on one of my first ever professional trades last night in picking up the Big Kahuna Bijan Robinson Bowman University card, Topps 2022, his senior year of college. So there you have it. There's your card of the night. Is my first, and this is the first graded card I had. I always remember this card. This and the Jordan Love are my first 2 graded cards. So there you go. There's your card of the night, the 2022 Bowman University Bijan Robinson Big Kahuna. So yeah, take that. I thought I did pretty good. Honestly, I thought I did good. So, but yeah, I thought I did good. So to recap our night, and I guess, you know what, maybe as I said, I'm going to stay away from the Eagles. We talked very briefly about the Eagles. We're going to get into the Eagles heavily on Saturday with Kyle. It's that time of the year. Thanksgiving is it. Today is it, man. Today on the NFL calendar, it all starts for me. These are the games that matter from this point forward. This is where you jockey in for position. This is where the contenders rise to the top and the pretenders fall apart. And starting on Sunday, for the Eagles at least, is the start of that stretch run. Now, we do remember what happened last year, correct? And when this little stretch run began, matter of fact, about a year ago on Sunday, that was the 49er game. I don't expect the same results as last year. I don't think they're going to lose in that fashion to the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's going to be a good game, and I will reveal my pick on Saturday, but I think it's going to be a good game, and I don't think it's going to have ramifications like the 49er game did last year. I don't think this is a make or break season defining game. I don't. I think this is a watermark game. This is a game where the team can kind of look at themselves and say, okay, we're here. We need to get there, or we've gotten here. Now we got to get higher. I think that's the kind of game this is going to be. I don't think this is season defining in any way, shape, or form. And I don't think the Eagles should go into that game thinking that same way. But it is going to be interesting to see how they do handle Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and the rest of them. It's going to be interesting to see how that defense handles them. And, we've had prolific passing attacks before, right? The Rams had Stafford, Kupp, and Nakua. They are 2-3 players that are high-end talent players, and the Eagles did amazing against them. We haven't faced a Derrick Henry yet. The ground defense has not had to deal with a running back like Derrick Henry yet. Is there something to the point of dealing with a Saquon Barkley in practice that should help this defense out when it comes to playing against the Ravens? I don't know, but we haven't faced a Derrick Henry-led type of offense, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works for them. And it's going to be an interesting test. And the same thing with the quarterback. Lamar Jackson, he's a different type of quarterback than the Eagles have faced. He's mobile. He's an MVP candidate, a true MVP candidate. So, it's going to be a very interesting test for the Eagles come Sunday. Steve, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for chiming in. Non-conference road games, the other team needs more. Steve, yeah, I guess. I don't really understand your point here. I don't think the Eagles should go into any game thinking that they, trying to weigh the fact that who needs it more, them or us. I understand what you mean. As I said, I don't think this is a season-defining game. The Eagles have padded themselves. They're 9-2. They can withstand a loss. Now, can the fan base withstand a loss to the Ravens? Yeah, that's a different story. And of course, I'd be one of the main people stoking the flames of that one. But the team could probably withstand the loss. And it's not going to define the season. But we said a lot about that same thing last year too, Steve, if you recall, when they lost to the 49ers. Oh, it's just we're 10-2 now. It doesn't matter. We're 8 games above 500. Now, we all know what happened there. And again, I don't think that's what's going to happen this year. I honestly think this is a different team, different type of coaches, especially where it matters. And I don't think that necessarily does happen. But to put it out of the realm of possibility, can't, you know? So, no, I don't think that this is a burn the boat type of game. I don't care if we lose this game at all. Yeah, again, yes, you do, Steve. Don't lie to me. Of course you do. You're an Eagles fan. Of course you care. I mean, you do. You do care. Again, you're not going to be slamming your head against the wall if they do. But you're also not going to, you know, if they get blown out 75-0, you're going to be pissed off, as you should be, right? If they lose 24-23 because Jalen Hurts mismanaged the last 35 seconds of the clock, you're going to get pissed, and there's going to be criticism that's going to be dwelled out at Jalen Hurts because he couldn't manage the last 35 seconds of the game, or Nick Sirianni, whatever. So don't say you don't care. Of course you care, and that's you know, and that's okay. That's what you are. You know, you're an Eagle fan, man. We all care. We all absolutely care. We live and die with every game. Now, I honestly don't care. I don't. Well, yeah, I do. What am I talking about? Of course I do. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I would rather come out healthy if I am given a choice. So, Steve, let me wrap the scenario around your head, and this goes for anybody else who's listening. Something that plays out on Sunday, Eagles-Ravens, is the same thing that played out today against the Bears and the Lions. And we're the Bears. And Caleb Williams is Jalen Hurts. And the fiasco at the end of the game with the 35 seconds, the one timeout still remaining. If something like that happens that prevents the Eagles from either tying or going for a go-ahead winning field goal, of course you're going to be pissed. You're going to be pissed, and there's going to be criticism to be dwelled out upon either Nick Sirianni, which in the real case with Matt Eberflus, that's his real name. I don't necessarily blame him for that. I blame the offense for casualty taking those last 35 seconds and doing, oh, hey, we're here. So, but of course you're going to get pissed if something like that happens, because that's what we do. That's what we all do. We can't sit here and enjoy anything unless it's a Super Bowl. That's the only time I remember I wasn't pissed or I didn't have anything to say, is when we won the Super Bowl. There ain't nothing to say at that point. You did it. But yes, and to say that all I care is that we come out healthy. All I care is if we, you know, don't get embarrassed, or all I care about is if X and Y happens, or Saquon just walks away and knows no problems. Yeah, I understand that. But you can't sit here and tell me, and straight to my face, that if something happened on Sunday, Eagles-Ravens, that mirrored what happened today with the Bears and the Lions, that you wouldn't be pissed off. Because you'd be like, we were there. We had it. We were right. And they messed it up because they did something stupid. Of course we would care. And it would be talked about. Now, would it be season defining? Would it be something that we would remember as the epitaph of the season? Probably not. But last year it was. If you recall, last year it was. This very Sunday, 1 year ago, the Eagles 49er game in Philly. The beginning of the end of the 2023 Eagles was this coming Sunday 1 year ago. Is there parallels to this game to that? I mean, there's one, maybe two. That's about it. But it's in my mind, right? Are we a stronger 9-2 than we were a 10-1? Absolutely. There hasn't been much doubt about our winning and the opponents and the way we've been winning. There hasn't been much doubt. That we haven't been gifted games by the bounce of the football or the referees. 100%. It's a different vibe to this team. But there is something lurking for me. And we've talked about this on this show. The one-layered offense. The Saquon or bust offense. That to me still remains a problem. And not that we can't ride Saquon like that all the way to the end of this. Absolutely does not mean that. We probably could if he stayed healthy and nobody stopped him. But the parallel that I'm drawing from last year to this game is obviously this level of opponent, the fact that and the similarity in the records. That's about it. That's the only parallels I'm drawing. I think we have a stronger coaching staff this year than we did last year. I think Saquon Barkley is the X factor that we had have, of course, this year that didn't have last year. And the defense is playing 1,000% better than they were playing last year. So there are parallels, but they're very minimal for me. But there's something to that. Chicago suffered as a bystander today, and it directly shows no one knows who's in charge. That's what last year's team felt like. So, yeah. Well, no, Steve, and I get what you're saying, but as far as what happened today, I'm sure you watched it or you've seen it. I'm not laying this thing at the coach's feet. Not at all. The players on the field got to take some responsibility to what happened. Caleb Williams, captain of the offense, has got to be like, come on, let's get to the line. Looking at the clock, I'm looking at if there was something, a play, because, again, that play was designed to go across the middle of the field, which makes no sense, even with the time or not. He should have called a timeout and burned it right there and said, you know what, that's it. Tweet or snap the ball and throw it out of bounds directly. I mean, calmer and cooler heads got to prevail. I don't know what Caleb Williams' relationship is with the Bears' offensive coach staff is. I don't know if he has power of audible. I don't know if that was an audible play, but it was a stupid play that took too long to develop. And at a certain point, Caleb Williams has to step in there and say, you know what? This is wrong. We're running out of time. I'm at least going to give my field goal kicker, even though we were about 10 yards or 5 yards behind the target line. So it would have been like a 62-yarder. But still, I'm going to give him a chance. You know, I'm not going to let the clock run out on this and have something like what happened happen. So I do blame the coaching staff to a certain extent, but I also blame the quarterback, and I also blame the offensive players because they got to take some self-accountability in that field. These are professional athletes being paid millions of dollars. They're not robots, as I always like to say. They got to take some accountability and show some leadership. So, but if that scenario were to play out on Sunday against the Ravens, this would be up in arms. I'm not really sure who they would blame. I don't know if it would be a half Nick Sirianni, half Jalen Hurts, half everybody. I don't know who would blame on that, but probably Sirianni would get the bulk of the blame based on his track record. But we would care, regardless of how insignificant this game might be to the grand scheme of the season and about winning the Super Bowl against an out-of-conference team. We would care. We would care that we lost that way. Hurts' inability to see the game at multiple levels simultaneously may cost us the highest level of football. That's my worry. He doesn't see multi-level routes. Steve, he doesn't. Yeah, you're damn right he doesn't. And this is another point, Steve. And again, the one-layered offense, the problem I have is that's the problem I have with the Eagles. Offensively, it's one layer. I make a big deal of this every week. The inability to throw to the middle of the field. The inability to go to the middle of the field. What is it? 285 pass attempts right now, and only 36 have been passed or have been thrown to the middle or targeted to the middle of the field. That is 7.9% of the time this season the Eagles have worked the middle of the field. Now, I don't know if that's scheme in terms of are they not letting him go there? Are they calling everything for him vanilla and bland and base? Right? That's not Kellen Moore's offense because Kellen Moore is a predicator of the quick hit slant play, the tight windows, the timing stuff. That's a Kellen Moore offense, right? So we can rule that out. So that's not a Kellen Moore play. Sirianni likes to work the sides of the field. Sirianni likes to do those hero balls and those 50-50 balls, right? Right? I mean, there was a lot of conversation heading into the season. Could Jalen Hurts pick up the offense? Jalen Hurts made some tongue-in-cheek remarks about it in training camp during the preseason, that essentially he was having trouble digesting yet another offense. He kind of took a woe is me route to it all. Now, what I think happened at some point, and I don't know if that was during the bye week or the Tampa game, or at some point early in the season or before the season began, somewhere in there, they decided to stop trying to run the Kellen Moore playbook, and they run the Moore playbook, right? The combination of Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni. And that is exactly what you're seeing right now. You're not seeing Kellen Moore's playbook. You're seeing parts of it, and you're also seeing parts of Nick Sirianni's playbook. And you're right. The multi-levelness of Jalen Hurts' ability to see route and progressions and checkdowns and maybe still read defenses, because we stopped talking about Jalen Hurts' inability to read defenses, but I still don't think he can read a defense. And I think if a defense tries to really try to confuse him, they're going to. But you're absolutely right, Steve. That is the weakest link to this Eagles offense. He's the weakest link. And for all these homers out there that are calling him, having him an elite season, and I'm hearing him in the MVP conversation, that's just ridiculous. That's just homeritis right there. That's not being honest with yourself and accepting the fact that we might have given the money to the wrong guy again. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's going to break down like Wentz did. But I don't think Jalen Hurts is ever going to be the quarterback we want him to be. 2022 was a mirage, was a one-hit wonder, a one-year wonder. I don't think we're ever getting back to that unless Shane Steichen comes back to this town to run the offense, or we trade Jalen Hurts to the Indianapolis Colts, a la Carson Wentz. So I don't know. We'll see. He can make throws anywhere on the field, but the issue is usually doesn't recognize short, intermediate, deep, or the same play. It's his limitation, but he can throw an accurate ball. But can he throw it into the window, Steve? Can he throw it into that window? What's the other biggest problem of his quarterback mechanics? He holds on to the football too long. I'm telling you that there's something afoot. There's something amiss. They don't let him throw to the middle of the field because of the timing issues. They don't want him to get intercepted. They don't have trust and confidence in him. This is my opinion. I don't have any insider knowledge. They don't have trust and confidence in him and his ability to thread that needle, to get the ball into that window consistently throughout a game. That's why you see literally 36 pass attempts targeting the middle of the field over the past 12 games. Or 11 games. Sorry, 11 games. I've never seen that before. I've never even heard of that. 36 times they threw to the middle of the field in 11 games? Are you kidding me? That's not coincidence. That's a scheme. That's an attack plan. There's something that they don't trust about Jalen Hurts' mechanic about throwing the ball to the middle of the field. And it's probably trying to limit the interceptions, trying to limit the turnovers. You can also talk about the fumbles, because he's holding that ball too long, waiting for something to develop. He gets hit, the ball's out. So they're trying to do things to try to limit that. And, I don't know. It's why you don't see those checkdowns. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Steve. Can you still win with it? Maybe. With this line, you can do something good with it. No, and that's this thing. But, Steve, I want to ask you this. Me and Kyle talked about this last week. You mentioned the offensive line. Can they carry this? Can they carry it? Can they keep this thing going? Can they put Jalen Hurts, continue to put him in the best possible situation, regardless of whose playbook he's running or what side of the field he's throwing to? I think they can. But the question to me really centers in on the defense. That's the unit that's going to have to take up slack for this team heading down the stretch. If somebody finds a way to stop Saquon Barkley, it's the defense that's going to have to rise up even higher than they are right now. The Eagles, through 12 games, have only forced how many turnovers? They forced 14 turnovers through 12 games. They're going to have to step that up. That's not enough, right? If the Eagles need to rely on the defense, if for some reason Saquon Barkley is neutralized at some point during the stretch run of this season, it's the defense that's going to have to rise up until Jalen Hurts can figure out what his attack plan is. So that to me is critical. But me and Kyle talked about this last week. Can that Trent Dilfer syndrome, let's call it what it is, I'm not equating Jalen Hurts to Dilfer, but game managing quarterback, can he ride a team to a Super Bowl championship? Can he do that? Nick Foles is probably another example of that. But Trent Dilfer's probably the most famous one. All season long, Trent Dilfer was an average to below average quarterback, but he rode on the coattails of the greatest defenses of NFL history. That is not the Eagle defense, and I'm not trying to equate the 2000 Ravens to the Eagles. I'm not. What I'm trying to say is, can Jalen Hurts ride the Eagle defense's coattails, potentially to a Super Bowl champion? Or at some point, does Jalen Hurts need to play elite? like that $1.6 million game check he gets every week from that massive contract? Does Jalen Hurts have to provide that level of play for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl if they shut down Saquon Barkley? If somebody finds a way to neutralize him? Or if Saquon Barkley comes back down there on his own and instead of rushing for 255 yards a game, he's up around 70, 80-yard plateau. Does Jalen Hurts have to pick it up? Is Jalen Hurts, who is lost in all this greatness of Saquon Barkley, does he have to eventually rise above and come out the shadow and be the elite quarterback in order to get a Super Bowl championship? And we'll find that out over the next 6 weeks. I do like he has thrown the ball away lately when nothing is there. Yeah. Now and again, I'm not going to rag on him completely. There's been some changes to his game. Yeah. But are we done talking about the elite level Jalen Hurts? Because I don't hear it too much. Are we done talking about that? Have we resigned ourselves to say that 2022 was just a really good one-hit wonder season for him? You know, a lot like the 17 Wentz season was. I know people are having a hard time justifying a one-hit wonder for Jalen Hurts in 2022. They can easily justify Wentz's one-hit wonder because of the injury, and they can use that as a reason why he kind of slowed down, which is probably the truth. But are we beyond that? Are we past that? Have we resigned ourselves that Jalen Hurts is an average to an above-average quarterback? A starting quarterback caliber player, yes, but not an elite quarterback? Have Eagle fans come to terms with that? And is that enough to win a Super Bowl? All great questions that we're going to find out the answer to starting on Sunday. Because for me, football starts on Thanksgiving. The NFL season starts on Thanksgiving. Can't wait for it, man. So what we talked about tonight, let's recap. We're going to wrap this thing up so I can enjoy my Sunday. I think it's Sunday. Not my Thursday, because I got a big day tomorrow. Thus he bursts with his legs when he needs to. I think he found the happy medium. Yeah. Happy medium, Steve. Is that what you want for the elite quarterback? A happy medium? I don't know. Anyway, we talked about a little bit about the Eagles. That was probably a little bit deeper than I wanted to get. As I said, Saturday, if you want to hear more about the Eagles-Ravens specifically, tune into the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn some point Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. We'll be back, and we'll break that thing down. We got Flyers and Rangers in action tomorrow. Remember, after the game, be here. Sal will have you for the post game. And I got you tomorrow night or Saturday night for the Blues game. Our prospect of the night was Anthony Richard. And again, at what point of a player's career do you stop calling them a prospect? When they start kind of looking more like a career minor leaguer? Still don't know the answer to that question. We talked about that. We went over our card review tonight. Was my 2022 Bowman University Bijan Robinson card that I picked up last night at a card show. PSA 9. About $7 right now worth. And big, huge announcement. Actually, I have two more. I forgot about this. Good God. Don't forget, we are in the business of those post-game shows now. That's right. The Birds Flyby, the quintessential Eagle post-game show, will make its premiere here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network on Sunday. Sal G will be your primary host for this adventure, and he will be joined every week by a semi-regular co-host. That's all I can say about who this person is right now. And that's all the information I can give. You're going to have to come on Sunday and find out who it is. But it's going to be Sal pretty much taking you through this the rest of the way, this and hopefully beyond into the postseason, and then, of course, into years after that. So we are now into the realm of post-game shows here on the network as the Birds Flyby will premiere on Sunday following the Eagle-Raven game. Sal G will be your host, and he will have a semi-regular co-host. And I can't tell you who he is. You're going to have to go and see. And then maybe some weeks it's me co-hosting, or maybe some weeks it's Sal by himself. We'll change it up, make it happy, make it fun. So we're looking forward to jumping into the Eagles post-game show. Got the pregame, so we might as well get a game. And then the big news for the It's a Wrap Sports Network, we found out today on Thanksgiving that we've been granted press credentials to cover the 2020 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championships in Ottawa, Canada, starting on December 26th. So It's a Wrap Sports will be there covering that tournament, featuring some of the best young players under the age of 20 in the world. And of course, there's probably about 6 Flyer prospects that will probably be represented by their country's teams. And we'll keep you abreast of all that. And we'll have an opportunity to talk about some of the high draft prospected players heading into this summer's NHL draft. So that's coming up here in about a month. So we're looking forward to that. Big things that are happening on the network. And as I said, we could not be more excited about that. Steve checking in more. We will really find out how good Bond, Dean. Yeah, absolutely. I think the defense is about to have to take it to a different level. And again, I preface this by saying, Steve, if things can keep as a status quo, if Saquon Barkley can continue to break off 150, 160 yards a game or 255 yards a game, I don't care who the defense is. There's not going to have any problems. But at some point, Saquon Barkley is not going to rush for 190 yards a game or 255 yards a game. At some point, that's going to happen. Now, if it happens at the worst particular moment in time, which would be probably the playoffs, that would really suck. But at some point, the Eagles are going to have to find another way to win. And until Jalen Hurts can kind of work his way into that elite quarterback mold, or maybe try to become the permanent fixture again of the Eagle offense, someone's going to have to step in, and it's going to be that defense that shoulders the shoulder burden until Jalen Hurts can figure all that out. Will Bonk and Jet be there? So Team Canada has not announced their rosters, Steve, but the Flyers got 6 players right now that are, I'm not going to say locks. Jet Lachenko's a lock. He'll make Team Canada. Oliver Bonk will be a lock to make Team Canada. They're locks. The other players in the Flyer system that will potentially make Team Canada, you got Carson Bjornsson, the goalie prospect, who was not entering the season as a lock to make Team Canada, but he's had a really good first couple months for Brandon out there in WHL. I think he'll probably make the team. Also, Denver Barkey out of the London, Ontario Knights as well. Probably will make the team. I'm thinking he does. And then Jack Berglund in Sweden and what's his name? The kid from plays for the Finnish player. Heikki Rohinton should make the Finland team. So I'm going to say Jet and Bonk are locks to make Team Canada. Absolutely. Take it to the bank. But I think there's about 6 Flyer players that will probably make their respective countries. But we'll be there in Ottawa to cover all that great action for you. So we're looking forward to it. And James Haggins, who right now, heading into this tournament, is the consensus #1 pick in the 2025 NHL draft, the USA Team USA center. So we'll get a chance to look at him and a couple of the other players, and we'll start running draft player cards here, spotlighting some of these NHL players for you starting in January, as we'll kick things into extra gear, getting you ready for the NHL draft, and then right behind that will be the Major League Baseball draft. So a lot of work to be done. So we're looking forward to all that, and we cannot wait. So listen, from the bottom of my heart, I hope that you and yours have had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that somebody once told me a long time ago that everybody has something to be thankful for. Sometimes you got to think really hard, but everybody has something to be thankful for. And I'm no different. This year was weird because things started being here right now in front of you on the It's a Wrap Sports Network was not on my 2024 bingo card. It wasn't. Events pushed me here, and it is what it is. And I'm happy to be here and going in my own direction with bringing in some familiar people to help out has definitely so far been fun, and I'm looking forward to what 2025 will bring on. But there's a lot of things that I'm very thankful for: my wife, my kids, my stepkids, my health, deliciously good looks, all that stuff. I'm very thankful for, and of course being part of It's a Wrap Sports and being able to be part of It's a Wrap Sports. So a lot of great things to be thankful for. So I just, again, sometimes you just got to roll with the punches in life, man. And you got to do what you got to do. 2 hours ago. Thanks, Christ. Family just jet out 2 hours ago. Yeah, I know it's a big. Listen, I didn't have anybody here tonight. It was just going to be me and my immediate family, my wife and her 2 stepkids, but she ended up having to go to work. So I cooked a steak meal, homemade mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, Parmesan encrusted asparagus. And I did that for the kids. So we had a non-traditional Thanksgiving today. Stayed away from the turkey. We did a bigger family Thanksgiving on Saturday. So I was like, I don't want turkey twice in the same week. So we went porterhouse steak tonight. So it was a good little change of pace. But again, I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving and remind you that this will be the final show of the broadcast week for the final word. Well, I'll be back on Sunday night after the Eagles postgame show, after the Eagles flyby show here on the network, as we will no doubt continue the Eagle Raven conversation, do a little Flyers wrap up. Also, updates you on the MLB hot stove. So some moves will probably happen, and maybe the Phillies finally throw their hat in the ring and we make a move here. But we'll talk to you on Sunday, and don't forget the Birds Blast. Flyers clear the ice on Friday and Saturday, and the Eagles post game on Sunday. Still a bunch of programming, all scheduled for you guys. Have a great rest of your night and a pleasant tomorrow. Enjoy your holiday weekend. I know a lot of people have off tomorrow and on the weekend, so enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. Is it too soon to say Merry Christmas? Is it too soon for that? Is Thanksgiving officially over? Or do I got to wait till like midnight to say Merry Christmas? But the hell with it. I'm going to say it. Merry Christmas, everybody, as we get ready for the holiday. Not a fan. No, and especially their asking price. I'm not giving up Justin Crawford and Alec Boehm for Crochet. I will not do that. They can have Alec Boehm. I'm not giving up Crochet. I agree, Steve. All right. But again, is it too soon to say Merry Christmas? To hell with it. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll talk again. Again, have a great night and have a great rest of your night and a better tomorrow. See ya.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I'm so. Everybody know I'm hot. You know when the click through. Try to send this box to be a trophy.